If you love listening to podcasts, then you might love audiobooks too. And that's why I recommend Audible. Audible is the best app in the world to download and enjoy audiobooks. And with seemingly infinite titles, including the Game of Thrones series, Harry Potter, Lean In, and more, I guarantee you'll find the perfect audiobook for you. A great feature that'll come in handy is you can download all of your titles on any device and listen offline. This is of course particularly useful when traveling or during long commutes, and we all know it's simply a drag to sit in a train, plane, or bus with nothing to help time go by a little faster. For the listeners of Sleep and Relax ASMR, you'll get a free audiobook download with a free 30-day trial if you go to audibletrial.com/sleepandrelaxasmr. The audiobook I recommend is Stephen King's The Shining because, I'm a sucker for fiction, and there's something amazing about listening to a well-told horror story to pass time. So that's audibletrial.com/sleepandrelaxasmr to claim your 30-day trial and get one free download.
Hello everyone, welcome to episode, it might be 184, no I think it's 186 of Sleep and Relax ASMR. Today I will be whispering the Wikipedia page of Nikola Tesla. Now for those of you unfamiliar with the series, we call this series ASM Articles, and we pick a person or event in history and we read the Wikipedia page. So it's a good way for everyone to learn something new. And for some of you, it'll be so boring that you'll just float off somewhere and you'll just get to unwind and maybe sleep for a bit. Some of the sections were reduced or removed just to fit as much relevant info as possible. What I think is relevant info, at least, and to make it a little more coherent. So let's start this ASM article. Nikola Tesla was a Serbian-American inventor, electrical engineer, mechanical engineer, physicist, and futurist who is best known for his contributions to the design of the modern alternating current AC electricity supply system. Born and raised in the Austrian Empire, Tesla received an advanced education in engineering and physics in the 1870s and gained practical experience in the early 1880s working in telephone and at Continental Edison in the new electric power industry. He emigrated to the United States in 1884, where he would become a naturalized citizen. He worked for a short time at the Edison Machine Works in New York City before he struck out on his own. With the help of partners to finance and market his ideas, Tesla set up laboratories and companies in New York to develop a range of electrical and mechanical devices. His alternating current, AC, induction motor, and related polyphase AC patents, licensed by Westinghouse Electric in 1888, earned him a considerable amount of money and became the cornerstone of the polyphase system, which that company would eventually market. Oh, sorry. I just hit the mic. Where did I leave off here? Attempting to develop inventions he could patent and market, Tesla conducted a range of experiments with mechanical oscillators/generators, electrical discharge tubes, and early X-ray imaging. He also built a wireless control boat, one of the first ever exhibited. Tesla became well known as an inventor and would demonstrate his achievements to celebrities and wealthy patrons at his lab, and was noted for his showmanship at public lectures. Throughout the 1890s, Tesla would pursue his ideas for wireless lighting and worldwide wireless electric power distribution in his high-voltage, high-frequency power experiments in New York and Colorado Springs. In 1893, he made pronouncements on the possibility of wireless communication with his devices. Tesla tried to put these ideas to practical use in his unfinished Warren and Clive Tower project, an intercontinental wireless communication and power transmitter, but ran out of funding before he could complete it. After Warren and Clive, Tesla went on to try to develop a series of inventions in the 1910s and 1920s with varying degrees of success. Having spent most of his money, he lived in a series of New York hotels, leaving behind unpaid bills. The nature of his earlier work and the pronouncements he made to the press later in life earned him the reputation of an archetypal mad scientist in American pop culture. Tesla died in New York City in January 1943. His work fell into relative obscurity following his death, but in 1960, the General Conference on Weights and Measures named the SI unit of magnetic flux density the Tesla in his honor. There's been a resurgence in popular interest in Tesla since the 1990s. Early years. Nikola Tesla was born in ethnic Serbia in the village Smiljan, Lika County on 10th of July, 1856. At the time of his birth, I don't know how to pronounce it, so I'm probably butchering it. I'm sorry. Smiljan was part of the Austrian Empire's Croatian military frontier. His father, Milutin, was an Eastern Orthodox priest. Tesla's mother, Duka, whose father was also an Orthodox priest, had a talent for making home-craft tools and mechanical appliances and the ability to memorize Serbian epic poems. Duka had never received a formal education. Tesla credited his eidetic memory and creative abilities to his mother's genetics and influence. I actually didn't even include the rest of that sentence. Tesla was the fourth of 5 children. He had 3 sisters, Milka, Angelina, and Marika, and an older brother named Dane, who was killed in a horse-riding accident when Tesla was aged 5. In 1861, Tesla attended primary school in Smiljan, where he studied German, arithmetic, and religion. In 1862, the Tesla family moved to the nearby Gospić Lika, where Tesla's father worked as a parish priest. Nikola completed primary school, followed by middle school. In 1870, Tesla moved far north to Karlovac to attend high school at the Higher Real Gymnasium. The classes were held in German, as it was a school within the Austro-Hungarian military frontier. Tesla would later write that he became interested in demonstrations of electricity by his physics professor. Tesla noted that these demonstrations of the quote-unquote mysterious phenomena made him want to quote-unquote to know more of this wonderful force. Tesla was able to perform integral calculus in his head, which prompted his teachers to believe that he was cheating. He finished a 4-year term in 3 years, graduating in 1873. In 1873, Tesla returned to Smiljan. Shortly after he arrived, he contracted cholera, was bedridden for 9 months, and was near death multiple times. Tesla's father, in a moment of despair, who had originally wanted him to enter the priesthood, promised to send him to the best engineering school if he recovered from the illness. In 1874, Tesla evaded conscription into the Austro-Hungarian army in Smiljan by running away southeast of Lika to Tomingaj near Krasic. There he explored the mountains wearing hunter's garb. Tesla said his contact with nature made him stronger both physically and mentally. He had read many books while in Tomingaj and later said that Mark Twain's works had helped him to miraculously recover from his earlier illness. In 1875, Tesla enrolled at Austrian Polytechnic in Graz, Austria, on a military frontier scholarship. During his first year, Tesla never missed a lecture, earned the highest grades possible, passed 9 exams, and even received a letter of commendation from the dean of the technical faculty to his father, which stated, quote-unquote, "Your son is a star of first rank." During his second year, Tesla came into conflict with Professor Poschel over the Graham dynamo when Tesla suggested the commutators were not necessary. Tesla claimed that he worked from 3 a.m. to 11 p.m. on Sundays or holidays accepted. No Sundays or holidays accepted. He was quote-unquote mortified when his father made light of those hard-won honors. After his father's death in 1879, Tesla found a package of letters from his professors to his father, warning that unless he were removed from the school, Tesla would die through overwork. At the end of his second year, Tesla lost his scholarship and became addicted to gambling. During his third year, Tesla gambled away his allowance and his tuition money, later gambling back his initial losses and returning the balance to his family. Tesla said that he had, quote-unquote, conquered his passion then and there, but later in the U.S. he was again known to play billiards. When examination time came, Tesla was unprepared and asked for an extension to study, but was denied. He did not receive grades for the last semester of the third year, and he never graduated from university. In December 1878, Tesla left Graz and severed all relations with his famly to hide the fact that he dropped out of school. His friends thought that he had drowned in the nearby Mur River. Tesla moved to Maribor, where he worked as a draftsman for 60 florins per month. He spent his spare time playing cards with local men on the streets. In March 1879, Tesla's father went to Maribor to beg his son to return home, but he refused. Nikola suffered a nervous breakdown around the same time. On March 24, 1879, Tesla was returned to Gospic under police guard for not having a residence permit. January 1880, two of Tesla's uncles put together enough money to help him leave Gospic for Prague, where he was to study. He arrived too late to enroll at Charles Ferdinand University. He had never studied Greek, a required subject, and he was illiterate in Czech, another required subject. Tesla did, however, attend lectures in philosophy at the university as an auditor, and he did not receive grades for the courses. Working at Budapest Telephone Exchange. In 1881, Tesla moved to Budapest, Hungary, to work under Tivadar Puskás at a telegraph company, the Budapest Telephone Exchange. Upon arrival, Tesla realized that the company, then under construction, was not functional, so he worked as a draftsman in the Central Telegraph Office instead. Within a few months, the Budapest Telephone Exchange became functional, and Tesla was allocated the chief electrician position. During his employment, Tesla made many improvements to the central station equipment and claimed to have perfected a telephone repeater or amplifier, which was never patented nor publicly described. Working at Edison. In 1882, Tivadar Puskás got Tesla another job in Paris with the Continental Edison Company. Tesla began working in what was then a brand new industry, installing indoor incandescent lighting citywide in the form of an electric power utility. The company had several subdivisions, and Tesla worked at the Société Électrique Edison, the division in the Ivry-sur-Seine suburb of Paris, in charge of installing the lighting system. There, he gained a great deal of practical experience in electrical engineering. Management took notice of his advanced knowledge in engineering and physics and soon had him designing and building improved versions of generating dynamos and motors. They also sent him on to troubleshoot engineering problems at other Edison utilities being built around France and in Germany. A move to the U.S. In 1884, Edison manager Charles Batchelor, who had been overseeing the Paris installation, was brought back to the U.S. to manage the Edison Machine Works, a manufacturing division situated in New York City, and asked that Tesla be brought to the U.S. as well. In June 1884, Tesla emigrated to the United States. He began working almost immediately at the Machine Works on Manhattan's Lower East Side, an overcrowded shop with a workforce of several hundred machinists, laborers, managing staff, and 20 quote-unquote field engineers struggling with the task of building the large electric utility in the city. As in Paris, Tesla was working on troubleshooting installations and improving generators. Historian W. Bernard Carlson notes Tesla may have met company founder Thomas Edison only a couple of times. One of those times was noted in Tesla's autobiography, where, after staying up all night repairing the damaged dynamos on the ocean liner SS Oregon, he ran into Batchelor and Edison, who made a quip about their Parisian being out all night. After Tesla told them he had been up all night fixing the Oregon, Edison commented to Batchelor that, quote-unquote, "this is a damn good man." One of the projects given to Tesla was to develop an arc lamp-based street lighting system. Arc lighting was the most popular type of street lighting, but it required high voltages and was incompatible with the Edison low-voltage incandescent system, causing the company to lose contracts in cities that wanted street lighting as well. Tesla's designs were never put into production, possibly because of technical improvements in incandescent street lighting, or because of an installation deal that Edison cut with an arc lighting company. Tesla had been working at the machine works for a total of 6 months when he quit. What event precipitated him leaving is unclear. It may have been over a bonus he did not receive, either for redesigning generators or for the arc lighting system that was shelved. Tesla had previous run-ins with the Edison company over unpaid bonuses he believed he had earned. In his own biography, Tesla stated that manager of the Edison Machine Works offered a $50,000 bonus to design 24 different types of standard machines, but it turned out to be a practical joke. Later versions of the story have Thomas Edison himself offering and then reneging on the deal, quipping, quote-unquote, "Tesla, you don't understand our American humor." The size of the bonus in either story has been noted as odd, since Machine Works manager Batchelor was stingy with pay, and the company did not have the sort of cash, which was equivalent to $12 million today on hand. Tesla Electric Light and Manufacturing. Soon after leaving the Edison company, Tesla was working on patenting an arc lighting system, possibly the same one he had developed at Edison. In March 1885, he met with patent attorney Lemuel W. Searle, the same attorney used by Edison, to obtain help with submitting the patents. Searle introduced Tesla to two businessmen, Robert Lane and Benjamin Vail, who agreed to finance an arc lighting manufacturing and utility company in Tesla's name, the Tesla Electric Light Manufacturing. Tesla worked for the rest of the year obtaining the patents that included an improved DC generator, the first patents issued to Tesla in the U.S., and building and installing the system in Rahway, New Jersey. Tesla's new system gained notice in the technical press, which commented on its advanced features. The investors show little interest in Tesla's ideas for new types of alternating current motors and electrical transmission equipment. After the utility was up and running in 1886, they decided that the manufacturing side of the business was too competitive and opted to simply run an electric utility. They formed a new utility company, abandoning Tesla's company and leaving the inventor penniless. Tesla even lost control of the patents he had generated, since he had signed them to the company in exchange for stock. He had to work at various electrical repair jobs and as a ditch digger for $2 per day. Later in life, Tesla would recount that part of 1886 as a time of hardship, writing, quote-unquote, "My high education in various branches of science, mechanics, and literature seemed to me like a mockery." New York laboratories. The money Tesla made from licensing his AC patents made him independently wealthy and gave him the time and funds to pursue his own interests. In 1889, Tesla moved out of the Liberty Street shop Peck and Brown had rented, and for the next dozen years would work out of a series of workshop/laboratory spaces in Manhattan. The fire. In the early morning hours of March 13th, 1895, the South Fifth Avenue building that housed Tesla's lab caught fire. It started in the basement of the building and was so intense Tesla's fourth-floor lab burned and collapsed on the second floor. The fire not only set back Tesla's ongoing projects, it destroyed a collection of early notes and research material, models, and demonstration pieces, including many that had been exhibited in the 1893 World Columbian Exposition. Tesla told the New York Times, "I am in too much grief to talk. What can I say?" After the fire, Tesla moved to 46 and 48 East Houston Street and rebuilt its lab on the 6th and 7th floors. Death. On January 7th, 1943, at the age of 86, Tesla died alone in room 3327 of the New Yorker Hotel. His body was later found by maid Alice Monaghan after she had entered Tesla's room, ignoring the quote-unquote "do not disturb" sign that Tesla had placed on his door 2 days earlier. Assistant medical examiner H.W. Wembley examined the body and ruled that the cause of death had been coronary thrombosis. 2 days later, the Federal Bureau of Investigation ordered the alien property custodian to seize Tesla's belongings, even though Tesla was an American citizen. John G. Trump, a professor at MIT and well-known electrical engineer serving as a technical aide to the National Defense Research Committee, was called in to analyze the Tesla items, which were being held in custody. After a 3-day investigation, Trump's report concluded that there was nothing which could constitute a hazard in unfriendly hands, stating, "Tesla's thoughts and efforts during at least the past 15 years were primarily of a speculative, philosophical, and somewhat promotional character, often concerned with the production and wireless transmission of power, but did not include new, sound, workable principles or methods for realizing such results." In a box purported to contain a part of Tesla's death ray, Trump found a 45-year-old multi-decade resistance box. On January 10th, 1943, New York City Mayor Fiorello LaGuardia read an eulogy written by Slovene-American author Louis Adamich live over the WNYC radio while violin pieces Ave Maria and Tamo Daleko were played in the background. On January 12th, 2,000 people attended the state funeral for Tesla at the Cathedral of St. John the Divine. After the funeral, Tesla's body was taken to the Ferncliff Cemetery in Ardsley, New York, where it was later cremated. The following day, a second service was conducted by prominent priests in the Trinity Chapel. Even though I just read his death, I'm going to read the patent section. Patents. Tesla obtained 300 patents worldwide for his inventions. Some of Tesla's patents are not accounted for, and various sources have discovered some that have lain hidden in patent archives. There are a minimum of 278 known patents. And then here I have a couple of notes from his personal life that I thought were interesting. Tesla worked every day from 9 a.m. until 6 p.m. or later, with dinner from exactly 8 to 10 p.m. at Delmonico's restaurant and later the Waldorf Astoria Hotel. Tesla would telephone his dinner order to the head waiter, who also could be the only one to serve him. His meal was required to be ready at 8 o'clock. He dined alone, except on the rare occasion when they would give a dinner to a group to meet his social obligations. For exercise, Tesla would walk between 8 and 10 miles per day. Tesla became a vegetarian in his later years, living only on milk, bread, honey, and vegetable juices. So, I think I'll leave it there. interesting to learn a little more about Tesla's personal life. So, thank you for listening to this episode of Sleep and Relax ASMR. If you would like to make a suggestion on future topics to read in this series, you can email hello@sleepandrelaxasmr.com. And if you want your voice to be heard above others and to really help out the show in a meaningful way, you can support the show on Patreon by just visiting patreon.com/sleepandrelaxasmr. That's all for this episode. Thanks as always for listening, and take care.